Take it for what it's worth. This is the information I have to share with you. Now, you need to clean the thing because it grows mold. Now, where does it grow mold? It grows mold in the drain line. This does not refrigerate. The refrigeration happens in here. This stays room temperature. But your water goes down here. This is all wet, and it sits here forever with proteins and such that come out of your food that drain through the water. So that needs cleaned. This also needs cleaned. That's your vacuum line that is constantly pulling atmosphere through here. That atmosphere contains moisture, which contains bacteria and lines the walls of this this hose. Now, you can tell just by looking. If you look in there, you can see that there's shit that needs cleaned out. So, first step, camera person. All clear so far?
Mm-hmm.
First step, take your ring out. Take the shelf out. Put the shelf beside the unit, and I don't like to take this plug off. The reason I don't like to take the plug off is because there is a high current connection here. There's two of them. These thick wires are high current that go to the heating vats. These thin wires are low current. They go to the thermostat. Now, if you insist on taking it off, or you need to wash this in the sink, I like to take this end and loop it through here so it stays out of this mess here and you don't contaminate it. This is also a maintenance item. When you see those postings about people that show their plugs and it's all melted, it's because they got moisture in there, or there's not a positive connection here. When you're drawing 5 or 6 or 700 watts through this connection and you got a high resistance connection here, it gets hot, melts your plug. So use electrical cleaner. This electrical cleaner takes away moisture and it cleans up any oils, greases, contaminants, things that create a high resistance connection. Maintenance item, make sure you do it periodically. Now, you've got your chamber. This does not need to be cleaned forever, or not forever. It does need to be cleaned, but it doesn't need to be cleaned incessantly. Clean it when it's dirty. How do you know it's dirty? Just run your finger across it. Is it greasy? Can you feel debris? It feels clean to me. It looks clean. Use your nose. Does it smell clean? It's probably clean. If it's not clean, clean it. Now, same thing goes for here. Don't use vodka to clean the fucking chamber. Seriously, people. Vodka is for drinking. It is not for cleaning. This is 304 stainless steel. It is not a new product. It is cleaned in aerospace and medical. It's cleaned in all sorts of industries. Very sensitive. Look at the gauge of this. This is not thin material. Even if this was to pit because you were stupid and you cleaned it with something like bleach or salt or whatever, it's going to outlast you. This is high gauge stainless steel. Now, with that said, vinegar mix is a good thing to use to clean it. But BLC is what I use to clean the lines. Now, this stuff is called beverage line cleaner or beer line cleaner, and it's for cleaning lines and taps on beer delivery systems. The way you work it, 32 parts water, half a part or ounce of concentrate. So I put it in a spray bottle here. Now, what do? I caulk this so it's closed. Take some BLC. Let's pour some in there just like that. Then what I like to do is crack this open just a touch. See how it's barely running through there? So the amount of time that it's in contact with the surface is increased rather than just cracking it wide open and letting it blow through there. Now, secondly, this is going to become discolored. Doesn't matter how often you clean it, it will. So what I like to do take this off. Now you got to clean this as well. Just run that up there. Look at how nasty that looks. And I frequently clean this. So I guarantee you, if you haven't cleaned this, this is going to be full of germs and bacteria. Now remember, yes, this doesn't touch your food, but when you crack this open to vent your chamber, or to, not vent your chamber, but to let the atmosphere in, all the air of your house or the room that it's in is going to come rushing through here, and it's going to go ripping through here, and it's going to pick up all the nasty shit that's built up in here, and it's going to shower it all over your food. So if you like eating that, then don't clean it. But I don't like eating that, so I clean it. Same thing goes here. This hose also needs cleaned because it's all that air is gonna rush through here. Now don't forget, all that wastewater is full of protein and bacteria. It all runs through here. None of this is refrigerated. So this is gonna get moldy. You can see it. And I keep this thing clean. So just clean it. It's not hard, right? It doesn't take long. Clean it. All right, see, look at all that nastiness. Right, so you can take this over to the sink, you can clean it up, which I'll do after, and that will ensure that everyone that's eating the food you're freeze drying stays healthy. All right, so that's that. Secondly, once you have used BLC, although it's food safe, you don't want it to be lingering. So what I like to do, let's tighten that down. Take some water, that's just clean water, drinking water. Just pour it down there. Not like that. Yeah, just pour it down there. Yeah, so you're flushing that out. This is as much cleaning as you need to give your chamber. If you insist on sanitizing it, just use a vinegar mix. Don't use vodka, for Christ's sakes. I don't know who came up with that stupid idea. Yeah, let's use vodka because there's a neutral pH, blah, blah, what, come on, give me a break. Vodka. Stainless steel, people. All right. So, that's how you clean the chamber. That's how you clean your line. Now, this line. What I like to do, just pour a little in. Back, forth, back, forth. And you're going to take this to the sink and you're going to rinse it out. So I'll be back. I'm going to go rinse this stuff out. I'm going to rinse this out and we'll carry on.
One.
All right, so I've washed all these out in the sink, rinsed them out good. I've rinsed this hose out good in the sink. So there's water in here. You want to try and get as much of it out as you can. Now, yes, I know there's going to be a bunch of people that are all butthurt going, oh, but there's water in there. You got to get it in the pump, and it's going to get in the oil. It's going to fuck up your pump. You have any idea how much moisture this thing pulls out of here through here? That's why you got this ballast. That's why you're not supposed to put a fan on this, because the heating of the oil evaporates the water. This little bit of water means fuck all. So, you see in there, you got a little O-ring. See that little O-ring in there? You see that little O-ring in there? That is what is going to seal against these flares. Now, you can assist the likelihood of making a positive seal. Just put a little bit of oil on that. Right, there's a little bit of oil on it.
And that can be any kind of oil?
Well, I'll use the vacuum oil. Now, the second thing to keep in mind on this is, see how this kind of rattles around in there? Well, it's not attached, right? So, when you're putting this on, tighten it down. And then, this is the key. Give it a wiggle as you're tightening it. Give it a little mini torque with a pair of channel locks, and that's it. So, same thing with this side. Make sure it centers nicely. All right. So, we've used BLC on the lines. We've used this scrub brush to scrub it out. We've used some water to flush it out. We're going to flush it again. This is important because this BLC is not something that you want to have lingering. Okay, so now we got a clean chamber. We're going to assume this is clean because there's nothing to indicate otherwise. We've cleaned this connection, so we're not going to have an issue with a high resistance connection. So double check, make sure that there's no moisture in there. Make sure that everything looks nice and clean. Make sure those pins don't look rusty. If those pins look rusty, clean it up. Don't rely or don't assume that that's going to be a proper connection. Other thing you can do is you can run a functional test on this, and you can turn on the heater, and then you can check for heat on this plug, right? If you've got a temperature gun, one of these things, just check the temperature on that. So we're 71 degrees maximum. So let this run for, let it run for an hour. Then come back, check that plug temperature. If that's 80 degrees, well, you got a problem. All right, you've got a clean freeze dryer. A couple other tips. Oh, this thing's cool as shit. When you're freeze drying stuff with the membrane, what you need to remember is that membrane needs to be pierced. Mandarin oranges, pineapples, blueberries, all sorts of things that take a long time because there's a membrane. This thing is great. What I do is when it's frozen, I'll have the frozen tray. I'll push this down with my fingers. I'll stab it. And then all those frozen bits of food get jammed and stuck in there. And you let go. And this pushes it off. And it allows you to continue. So you just go along the tray like this. Puncture all the membranes. Awesome tool. This is by STX International. Let's see, what else? This thing is cool. Hydroponic fan. It's a rail mount. So it just clips on. And you can clip it on. What I'll do is when this is all full of ice, I'll put that like that. Turn it on. And it will blow room air, ambient air, into here, and you know, this thing will defrost without using the defrost cycle in like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something. I think that's it. Happy freeze drying.